Hello, storyteller, storytelling run. I'm going to talk about my Subscribe Star. I'm going to talk about the new D6 system I've got almost finished. I'm going to talk about my AI and sort of my view on that and how much fun I'm having with the AI thing and putting up the artwork better artwork. And then I'm going to talk about maybe do some politics and stuff, but I'm just going to jib jab this morning with my raw heavy cream coffee Saturday morning. And why I'm doing Subscribe Star and I'm getting away from the regular website. The reason I'm doing that, let me just go to this. I'll get to this in a sec. I'm doing Subscribe Star. This is the Subscribe Star, subscribestar.com, storytelling Ron. I think that's how it works. Yeah. Okay. So here, and so the reason I'm doing this is it's kind of, I don't know if it's clunky or what. I'm trying to get away from Patreon. I don't want to do Patreon because they're kind of known for knocking conservative Christians out. And Subscribe Star supposedly is pretty good for that. And they're pretty small, obviously. And I'm just doing the $6 and you get everything. And, it's a little clunky, I guess, graphically or whatever, but, I don't want to do my regular website anymore because one, it's like $400 or $500 a year. And there's so many things and everything I want to do is more like nickel and diming me, any little extras. And it's just so much stuff on there. It's this and this and this, and I'm just getting overwhelmed by it. Then they had 500 emails you could send out, but then now it's only 250, and I didn't change anything. It just went from 500 to 250, and I'm like, I barely sent out 500. I couldn't. It was hard for me to send out one newsletter a month, and then now I looked at it and only 250. So, and I have about 600-700 subscribers on there, and I'm like, so I downloaded that. I'm going to keep those and I'm put them on my Substack. I'm doing free websites basically because. Another thing too is like when I die, hallelujah, bye bye, I fly away. So when I die, that website's gonna, disappear. It's gonna, once I stop paying, the storytellingron.com is just gonna go. And I'm like, so I might as well just put stuff somewhere where it's gonna have some lasting effect, and then my relatives or me can make it free at some point where all the stuff is just available for whoever. So I just want to keep it somewhere where it would kind of linger at least a little longer than when I stop paying for the website. So I'm doing subscribestar.com, storytelling Ron. So if you want to join, I really appreciate that. Money wise, I'm just sort of doing the Christian thing where you should pay for for services and what you want. And I work hard on this. I don't work. I don't have a job. I don't need one. My wife's doing what she's doing, and I could get a job. I could just go work. But if I do, I have to give up this. And the really thing I'd have to give up is serving the church as much as I've been doing. So I could live a luxuriantly, upper class life, whatever, with the wife, but I want to just serve the Lord in some way, and I do. I'm spending all day every day. Obviously I'm infatuated with role-playing games, and I've been able to trick the Lord into thinking that I can turn it into a ministry. But I'm just being silly there. But I just want something. It's eating away at me that the culture of the RPG is so owned by pagans and anyway, and I think, and I'm hoping the Lord has led me to come to a church finally and realize I need to do it through a church. And not do it on my own. None of us Christians should be doing our own ministries. We should be at a church running whatever ministry you have. You should be running it through your church and getting people at your church to help you and building up your church and making the church the center of what you want to do. So if you have a YouTube site or, a game or whatever, you should be gathering people to help you through your church and have your church have the, the YouTube studio. Obviously I'm still here at home. I'm still here doing it here sort of on my own, but I'm transitioning now slowly and with trust and patience and refinement. I'm slowly moving into the church with everything that I want to do. I've done smash burgers. Let me go back to me. just to show you how fun the church can be. I've done Smash Burgers now 3 times. You know, the men's group, small group, and then with the pastor's kids, as I played a little bit of the game with them on the Sunday after service. And then, of course, all these other people showed up, you know, oh, there's Smash Burgers. So I had to make 36 Smash Burgers because everybody wanted one. And then I got maybe 30 minutes of game time in with the kids because, you know, but the electricity in the air was great. You know, bringing people together over Smash Burgers and then playing a quick game with the kids. And the parents were waiting. You know, the pastor was waiting. And then another kid that was joined in was waiting for me because I had run late and was doing the Smash Burgers, and then I couldn't really do the game. But I was I did a quick little thing with them, and I could tell the parents were waiting, and the parents might even play at some point. But this was for kids. But I could tell they were waiting, but everyone was patient, including me, and I knew I had to hurry, so I did a quick little thing with them, and it was fun, and they want to play it again. And I even at the very end, they sort of rescued couple survivors, and the survivors like, well, we worship those lizards, you know, those gods. Well, they're not gods, they're just lizards, because they killed these giant lizards, you know. And I just kind of played these little survivors going, whoa, those, we worship them, but they're just animals, you know. And I had the kids say, no, there's only one God, you know, and the guy and the people are like, well, I didn't really think about it that way, you know, blah blah. So they had to articulate a little bit of the gospel, even though I had like 30 minutes and I had to just do a quick little role-playing game session with them. And I was exhausted. I wasn't even exhausted, but I was frazzled for making all these burgers and not, you know, the kids waiting and blah, blah, you know, and back and forth and chaos. And but that's what you should be doing. You should be, you know, figuring out ways to do things at your church that you love to do. I just ordered some stuff on it, some pickleball sets on Amazon, and I'm taking it to the church, and I'm waiting for the net. But you know, so I'm putting a lot of money into this. I'm buying all this all on my own for the church. But it's something I want to do there at the church. And so they have a big basketball court. You know, I'm like, what the heck? And then my church I'm at is sort of empty. It's in the middle of Hollywood. It's old, and there's only, you know, a few people. I mean, they're you know, before I came, they were doing well, and you know, trying to rebuild after some sort of schism that they had, which was strange and odd and whatever. I know a bit about it, but they're just rebuilding anyway. So I'm here there, and I'm just helping and joyfully, and now we have the basketball court open, so I'm doing the pickleball set, and I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna try to do that. They do a little bit of basketball, but only, you know, not that many people go to that. So that's whatever. That's another pickleball thing is what I'm going to be doing there. And then I'm going to be doing what else am I doing? I'm going to be doing a game. I'm sort of slowly talking to some of the guys to play. We're going to figure out a time and all that just to try it out. I've bought some miniature stuff, you know. I'm kind of looking into that now. I bought this thing. Let me pull this up. I bought a couple of these 10-folds. The 10-fold dungeon, they're like $50 on Amazon, you know, and they got the easy box sets. I bought 2 of these, Smuggler's Den and the Daedalus Encounter, because they both can be sci-fi or post-apocalyptic, and they're handy enough. I can just put them around for buildings or underground mines or lost ruins that they're going to go explore. You know, I'm going to I have my own. I plan on making my own boxes like that as well. I plan on getting some AI art and making like you know, post-apocalyptic shacks and things like that. And I've got the sticker paper label, whatever, print out on that with my inkjet AI art of the sides of buildings, and then just stick it on the boxes and use those as props for miniatures, and all the other miniatures as paper cutouts. So I'm keeping it cheap and simple with paper stuff. I'm not going to do full-on miniatures because I'm just not, you know, it's not my thing anymore. I did that plenty. So if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're obsessed with miniatures, I get it, because I was too, and into my 40s. But now I just simple stuff. Okay, so I'm doing the subscribe star because I want to I want to feel that people that are doing this game or want to follow me and learn from me want to invest in it, and help me out and encourage me. The money is really to encourage me. Getting money is encouraging. And that's why I'm going to stick with this. And I'm kind of done with the free stuff now. I sent out, I had my RPG was free, the Dark Ages, and a lot of people have downloaded it from the website. But I don't get anything out of it. I don't like. There's no emails, and maybe it's because it was terrible. I don't believe that, but I'm not really getting anything out of people downloading it for free, and then there's no responses or anything. So I feel like people download it, peruse it, and then that's it. And that's what I do too when I get free stuff, right? If I get free RPG stuff, I just look at it and peruse it, and then I'm done. I'm just not really invested in it. When you put money into something, it's more of you're really kind of more, that next level of wanting to. Well, I put some money into this, so I should put some time into it. And so I'm just gonna stop doing the free thing, because it's not that and if you have any take on that, feel free to comment and let me know. I want it to be people who really want to invest and really want to put some effort into it and look into it and learn from me or learn or help or contribute obviously the way to contribute is to put a bit of money into it and support it. So that's the kind of people. I don't want people coming in, giving their opinions, wanting to corral people for their own projects and then leave, kind of a thing. You can do that on your own, and God bless you. Hopefully you'll be successful. But I get too many of that, like freeloaders or people who want to ride my wave for a little while and then race ahead of me, kind of thing. And I'm just, I'm kind of over that. At this age, and just want to focus on the work, on people who actually want to play this. And this game system, by the way, feel free to take it. Feel free to take the rules and make your own game and do your own thing. But just I'm busy with mine. I don't need to help you or support you or look at your work. I don't have time for that. I'm focused on mine. If you want to do mine and create adventures for this game, by all means. Evangelism and church planning is the primary focus of this game. So, in Christian evangelism, church planning, that's what we should be doing as a culture, as Christians, confronting the evil, planning churches, setting it up so that we have churches as bastions, a sanctuary all across America and the world, which is what it used to be. Confronting the Democrats and all their evil. Confronting the Republicans who act like Democrats, confronting all of our sins, and as churches. So get back to your church. Yeah, and pickleball. The reason I want pickleball, the reason I want open mic night, me and a younger guy here in Hollywood, we're going to do an open mic night. We're both about to get voted in as deacons. So, and he's cooler than me, way cooler than me. So hopefully we'll get that going. I want to do a ukulele group, And the reason I want to do all these sort of light social groups is to get the church to be a community again. And then as you do that, iron sharpens iron. You start refining the younger men and women, and you turn them into church warriors or Christian warriors, like that, that go out and touch the world and affect the world. That's what we're there to. I'm there to nurture the younger men and women to get married, have kids, and then go out. And the men go out, hopefully the men go out, the young men, and change the world and for the better. Chivalry, knights. I might even start a little knighthood at our church, for younger men who do that. And the women stay with the children and raise the family. And women want to do that. I'm for all the women. I'm going to go back to talking. All the women that are strong, that I admire, that are strong, that are in politics or leaders or Christian. I do admire them. I do. And I know that women have plenty of strength, but every woman that has strength has to have men behind her that support her. But when a woman is out there fighting the left or fighting abortion or fighting the Satanists, it saddens me because there should be a man there doing it. The woman shouldn't have to do all that stuff, And when a woman steps up, it means the men are failing. Our men, I am failing. That's the way I look at it. We're supposed to be out there as men, leaders, rebuking the sin, rebuking the evil, and the women shouldn't have to do that. If a woman is strong enough and she really wants to do it, fine. But I think 50% of them would rather not do that. You know, the ones that are up there doing that. But if a woman does want to do it, I'm fine with it. I don't want to make a law against it. But I think more men should be doing it, personally. So, okay, so let me go back to the subscribe store. I'm going to be posting a lot. I'm trying to get stuff going. I'm going to show you what I'll be posting in here. Just throwing together some cool artwork. I'm using AI because the guys, you know, my players like it. I'm fine with it. I did all this doodled artwork. I did a ton of it. It didn't seem to make a difference as far as getting people that want to play. And I'm using a D6 system now, which I think I'm pretty excited. I'm very excited about, actually, because my D20 system, I could not get anyone to get it. And I really believed in it. I really believed in it. But I just couldn't get anyone to get, you know, it just was a little too hard for people to grasp. I loved it. It solved the issues that, you know, all the new OSRs use a very cheap, easy sell D20 system, and I didn't like it because you'd throw away the character after a certain amount of time once they got to 7th or 10th level. I just didn't care for that. If it felt pagan, I felt like, you know, life is cheap. I wanted a character that lasts a long time, and so I used a D20 die rank system that really makes it so that your character, you can keep upgrading your character, but as you went up higher and higher, the upgrades got more diffused or whatever. But it just wasn't. No one could get the system down. I couldn't get, you know, especially kids, and I want kids to get it. So this is way easy, right? I got 3 sword skill. I got 2 sword plus 2. That's 5. Roll 5 d6s. Get a 6 success, and you hit, kind of a thing. Okay, I do have a lot more rules in there to expand out, but that's the basics. It's very easy for them to play like that, and we can just go. So there's no confusion there about how many dice you need to roll or what kind of dice you need to roll. So that's a joyful thing that I now have, and this is only recent. I've just done this new D6, and I'm throwing it up there now and going with the AI. I'm having a good time with the AI. You know, it's tricky. It's time consuming. It's not time consuming. It's time consuming. It takes time to actually do all this work and do it right, and to get iterations, because every time I ask you to do something right, it takes a grueling 2 to 5 minutes to wait for the image, or whatever it is, 2 minutes or so. But you know, if you're working a day job, you can't get as much done as I'm getting done with this, for sure. So I'm spending all day doing this, and then I'm working on the game rules. And I've been doing this for 2 years. This pretty much been doing this for 2 years full time. So I have not been working, you know, this is the job I've been working. And here's my end result. I'm still redoing it. I'm literally redoing it after 2 years. The whole game. I've redone the whole game after 2 years because of the D20. I did 100 play test, over 100 players. I don't want to count how many hours of game time with the D20. And I finally, you know, and by the way, that revelation of I knew I wanted to do something, because I spent a year and a half trying to explain the D20 system, playtesting. I've rewritten the game 30, 40 times to try to explain the D20. I did new graphics, new everything over and over to try to get the D20 working. And finally, in one sort of sleepy night, half asleep, I got the vision, or not a vision, but whatever, the revelation. Hey, I could do both D20 and D6. I'm not killing I'm not ending the D20. I can do both. So just do it. Just go for it. And I don't know, something about, you know, I don't like to say the Holy Spirit would do or whatever, but I just felt a relief and a comfort and a joy in finally that I could do it. So I did it, and the joy is still holding on. The playtests have been great, and I'm refining that more and more. There's a lot actually to it. I thought that the transition from D20 to D6 would be, it felt and visually looked like it's going to be easy. It's straightforward, because it kind of is. You can actually take a D20 character and pretty much transfer it to the D6 pretty easily. Actually, I'm kind of happy about that. But anyway, in the D6, I'm adding a lot of nuance and developmental stuff in it that's really interesting and wonderful and intriguing. And I'll go through a little bit of it here in a sec. So, but please join my subscribe star. Help just to encourage me to keep working on this for the church, for your church. It's going to be accessible, this game. I'm working on the post-apocalyptic setting, by the way, is the easiest one to start. I believe, because the Dark Ages is a little harder. Only in that when you play the Dark Ages, it feels very like you have to sort of affix your mindset to that history and that period in medieval times. So you feel for me personally, when I try to create settings, I'm trying to stay grounded in 6th, 7th century Italy, Europe, and so I'm sort of limited to the sense. I push the limits, but I'm limited in the sense of what kind of creatures and monsters I can put that make sense. I certainly have prehistoric. I certainly have a lot of pagans who look like orcs or werewolves, but they're still human pagans in cosplay. But there's something a little constricting that going on there that I feel. So to me, the post-apocalyptic is fun because it's very gonzo. You can do kind of anything, with the excuse of its mutations, mutated giant creatures and lizards and mutant humans and mutant, so there's a fun there that you can just, and gonzo in the sense that there's no history, everything is wiped out, so everything is new, everything is pagan-y and crazy. The survivors are all struggling, in weird pagan. You can create sort of goofy pagan religions that they all come up with, because they're seeing all this mutant radiation, so, and all these ancient ruins of technology. So it's very easy in my view to create an adventure because it's all wacko, and you can have super AI gone demonic, running things and creating weird factories and mines that they run, and security robots that are gone insane, AI insane or whatever. So you can create anything you want as far as an encounter or an adventure there, and still have the looking for survivors, giving them the gospel, converting them, and planting a church and starting up a civilization to then build further out. And that's a fun, awesome thing that we need to do here in America, and it kind of represents America right now. We're in a post-apocalyptic world, it feels like. So that's the first one I'm working on. I'm going to really build up on that before I go on to Christians in Space, which is the same game system, but just adds spaceships and the whole spaceships and more sci-fi lasers. All of this sort of sci-fi technology in Christians in Space is technically in post-apoc because the timeline is very close. But you just don't have it because you're on Earth as a apocalyptic survivor, and it's all in the ruins. So killer robots and super AI and all that's there. In the Christians in Space, which is only like 150 years later of this story, is about going off into space and Christianizing all the terraformed planets that the atheist empire has been doing, and the super AIs have been doing during the time of this post-apoc. 2200 AD. So the post-apoc is 2300 AD. 2200 AD, 2200 is when the Earth, Christians were imprisoned in prison camps, and the atheist regime empire took over the world as a one global government or whatever. And then they discovered that translight drive into the stars was real time. It was the whole time dilation thing of E equals MC squared or whatever, so that they could travel to the other planets very fast. And so they left Earth, nuked the Earth, and now they're terraforming 2200 AD, terraforming all these planets and creating an empire and creating a Star Wars universe. And they're using genetic modifications to make aliens. So we got, let me go back to mine. So I just want you to know that we can make Christian missionary adventures in all of our favorite genres. Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, we can do that. We have it. All we need, and technically, think about it, Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek are Earth-based. And Star Wars with aliens, we have aliens, but they're just genetically modified, corrupted human, abominations or whatever. So we can do it. We can do all the cool, all of the addictive storytelling you love about Star Wars, and I do too, to be honest. I love the whole cowboy western swashbuckler feel of sci-fi, that kind of sci-fi. I don't like the Star Trek kind, but if you do, that's fine. You can still do it in this system. I like the more gritty outer rim western frontier Star Wars. Even like what's that one? The other sci-fi one that was kind of cool but had no aliens. Serenity? Remember that one? The one that had one season and then the one movie. whatever. It's Western in space. I love that concept. So and so that's what this my Christians in space is. But there's aliens, and the aliens are all genetically modified, which makes way more sense. Looking at Star Wars and Star Trek right now, it's all humans in face masks and all that. Mask and all. It's just silly to me. It's silly. Do they really all evolve as different human, bipedal, carbon based, same, on every planet? No. But my story of atheists going around terraforming all the planets that look, that can be terraformed, and then using genetically modified Klingons, genetically modified Chewbacca's, genetically modified whatever, Twi'leks and Jawas, Sand People. All that makes total, absolute sense in the setting I'm providing you. That all these planets were terraformed, and then the planets themselves, using their super AI, genetically modified their human DNAs they had, cloning them, and then and then animals and creatures, and planting them on the planet based on their them being able to survive on those planets. That makes way more sense, and is scientific, and it's a way of also teaching creation science too to kids. So you can do that, and you can have great adventures. I just love the system. I love the spaceship battles we have. Oh, I definitely gotta study the D6 for vehicle and spaceship combat, but it's very close to the D20. It's very close. It's very awesome. I really enjoy it. I've refined it now. I'm going to show you. It's very playable. We've been playtesting it, tweaking it here and there. I got some notes here of stuff I got to do. I got some great artwork I'm going to show you that I'm going to be putting on Subscribestar here very soon. And there's going to be a lot. I have a lot, and you're going to be a little overwhelmed. I think if you join my Subscribestar, you got to be committed. Whatever. Let me know. Please be interactive on my Subscribestar if you do become a member. Just give me your opinions, what you need, what you don't need. I've got so much stuff, and I'm very disorganized, but I keep working on it. I keep bulldozing. I'm a bulldog. I keep doing a ton of stuff. I just can't do everything that I want to do in the time frame that I can do it. So let me show you some stuff. So this is the website. I started this like a year or two ago, but I gave up on it and I kind of fizzled. But I'm gonna do it because the website and all that is just kind of annoying me. So I put a little thing here about what you think you're going to be doing. No one's responded. I've only technically got 2 subscribers. One is I can't get rid of it. It's like a dead subscription thing, but I can't. It's like stuck in there. So here's some of the AI art. Oh, look at this representation here. Actually, I'm gonna get the bigger image and show it to you. Oh, view and let me see if it'll give me here's a bigger version. Okay, so this is what you can get on my website. I could do a graphic novel with this storyline. I could do I write. I'm a writer, by the way. Let me show you. Actually, I do a lot of writing. This is my books. This is one series of books I've written. I got good reviews on it, but only a handful of sales. I'm an indie guy. I don't want to dig through here, but I don't know if you can see those books. This is all my Night of the Dead series. 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think. Night of the Dead zombie. I'll get one out. Oh, I wrote these. They're very D&D-ish, but they tie in with the Alfred. Very fun little pulp, like for kids, but very fantasy. But Alfred will tie in with Christianity, and then this is obviously ties in. But very fantasy world, kind of like a Narnia, but even Narnia on steroids. This is my Night of the Dead zombie adventure, and I wrote this. I wrote 4 of those, so I can write. Great stories, I think. So this is a story about that helmet. That's that helmet. A dad in Hollywood, and there's a zombie apocalypse. An autobiography, so it's knowledge based, about the area, and then about the armor and about what it takes to fight in this thing, and then zombies. Every zombie movie out there, what the heck? None of them have armor. Like not even medieval armor. Just if you have regular leather, they can't bite you. You know, if you have a leather neck and a leather pieces and sports gear, the zombies can't bite you. I mean, they could over, you know, there's other ways they could get you, but you have a chance. And swinging a sword is not easy, and especially swinging a sword with return strikes and and endurance, not easy. You got to train for that like a year or more, constantly doing muscle memory stuff. So that's why I argue that the only guys like this can actually do it. But still, you could still have a movie where they actually, I got to give this to my pastor. I'm gonna give that to him because he likes zombie movies. So anyway, okay, let me get back to this. All right, so this is a cool, I probably will do like a fun little graphic novel story with this, because this is the actual playtesters right now doing the D6 playtest, and this is kind of what they went through. They found in the mountains, they found a downed rocket ship from the atheist regime 100 years ago. And then, of course, they fought a big giant lizard at the rocket ship. Can I zoom in even more? Yeah. And then they went in and fought some zombies in there and looking around and getting lots of salvage down here. And this is a Christian role-playing game. This is a Christian role-playing game. And then over here, let's move it this way. And I just asked I just described it to the AI to... did they fight some raiders? They fought some raiders, but it was early in the story. It's kind of out of order here. Actually, they did this first, but anyway, whatever. And then, actually, they did this first in the D20, but whatever. And then so you find survivors, right? You fight the raiders, the slave raiders or whatever. And then you find the survivors and you give them the gospel. And then, boom, plant a church. Start there. And so the game is about that. Then you go off and do some more adventures. But you might have to go deal with more of these raiders who want to come back and revenge. You're right. You got to protect the church, and then you got to supply the church too with guns. And so I got a little mechanic in there. You got to go out, find stuff, and then bring it to the church and supply them and give them better defenses and medicine and food. And then they'll build up the little area. And then when they get to a certain strength, they can start providing you with cool stuff, like gear and supplies and hope and prayer. Boom. Christian role-playing game, explicitly Christian. I'm just trying to get across to you Christians, we can do this. This is a movie. This is a story with Christianity explicit, not I need Jesus or Christianity put to the side, but Christianity right there, front and center, and a ton of adventure. Why not? Why not have this? Why not have a scene where you talk to them about Christ? And that could be so entertaining. I make them in the game. I actually make them kind of funny and silly, but because I keep it light, because I don't need to go into deep theology or legalism in this game. It's unnecessary. Neither do you or me when we evangelize anyway. It's all about the basics, and and planning a church. Because in the church, which I don't role play in the game. In the church, the pastor does deep theology with the survivors, right? So you and I playing the role-playing game of this is all about the surface stuff, just supporting the church. So we don't play the ministers of the church. We play the missionaries for the church, okay? We don't play God. We don't play Jesus. In your life right now and mine, there's no God or Jesus, interacting with us in a role-playing sense or in our hearts and minds. We know he's there. They touch us. They do their thing. They're active in our lives. But the visual point of view of our game and of our lives is that of the world. So role play that. You don't have to role play Jesus or God or the Holy Spirit. You role play what we do as conduits of Christ, right? In this world. And the post-apoc is fun because you can create any kind of thing. And I'm going to show you now. Let me show you the assets I'm going to be uploading to the Subscribe Star. I just really need to get to it. Let's go with. And this is all AI because here, I want to just so you know, here's all of my cartoon stuff that I drew myself. Okay, these are all folders here. I'm just showing you. I did all this. Okay, so I drew all these as fast and furious as I could to get content for this game because I'm doing this all myself. and I just didn't. I don't have any support, and that's okay. I'm kind of abrasive anyway, so I get it. And working on this on my own is probably not very Christian in the sense of like join a church and get things going there. So there's some vehicles. I drew all this so I can draw, like doodly draw, and I can draw even better than this, but I wanted it to be quick, fast and furious, and get a bunch of content out. Let me show you just a braggadocio. I'm not trying to be braggadocio. I'm just trying to show you that I can do it. Like, so here's my D&D folder. Look at this, all my D&D stuff when I was doing the D&D. Let me find the all my artwork. Okay, is it here? Look at all this. I did all this. This is how ridiculous I am. Where did I? Here it is. See, I drew these. So a little more detail. I mean, still illustrative, fast and furious, trying to get things done. Let me draw. Let me look for some bugbears, obviously. So I do have, I can draw. I can try and draw better for a better look. Like, look, I drew this little. This is for the fire giants. Now, obviously it's a very quick style, but definitely a little more than just a doodle. These are fire giants. I drew a ton of. Look at all these characters I drew. Look at all this stuff. Here, let me go to the frost giants here. These guys are pretty cool. So I can draw, and I drew females. All these guys. Look at that. I did all this for my campaigns, the storm giants and all that. And then and I tried to make a whole Patreon thing with this. I tried to do a whole miniature cutout thing with paper miniature thing with this, but I just didn't make any money anywhere. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is like a wagon. These are all orcs. Like printable. Here's some trolls. Ooh, look at these guys. These carrion crawlers. That's a carrion crawler. It's kind of low res there. No, that's pretty low res, but look at that big old serpent. Oh, a grell. See, pretty exciting, huh? Grabbers. I created these guys. It's low res. I obviously I can do it. There's higher somewhere. Ooh, an otiog. Okay. Anyway, so I can draw, but not super high end professional, but decent enough. Anyway, so here is my AI. I'm using AI because it's quicker. I can get I can get about half of these. I guess if I could probably get all these done in one day, like this right here, because I think some of these I did on another day, whatever. But I did these all in one day, like explaining it, telling AI what I wanted, having to redo it a few times, and then but also working on other stuff. Right, I'm doing this, waiting for it to finish, and then I'm going to do something else. I would think maybe in a day I could do that, and well, more than that. But anyway, so here's some mutants. So all these are like cyborgs. Creatures. You can see those. It's kind of small on screen, but here, let me do this. So that's pretty fun, and the polish of it is much better than what I can do, time consuming wise. So it's just fun. It's fun. It's encouraging for them to see this kind of crazy stuff, and I'm fine with that. I'm tired of doodling. I'm not getting paid to do it anymore, at all. So I just want to get things done quickly, but looks cool and polished. I can't do polish. Polish takes a lot of time. Here's a big scary dude here. I call this Prophecy. One of my favorite movies as a kid. It scared the heck out of me. Prophecy. So there's that, and these are going to be everywhere, and these are like crazy mutant abomination dudes that are going to be, hopefully they'll encounter at some point. But it's still time consuming. Oh, I got a racker. I forgot to put this one on. I like the rancor in Star Wars, so I'm doing a racker. Call it a racker, and a big hulking beast. And this is a Toadjira, horny toad based. So I'm doing all these mutant beasts for you guys, for me. They're going to be. I'll figure out a way to export the Foundry camp, game. I'm doing some cool stuff in Foundry for it as well. Some tools that are helpful. Scripts. I've got a bunch of stuff in here. Zombies. I'm for sure gonna do more zombies than this, but this is nice. I'm just constantly building this up. I'm constantly making new things, and I'm gonna keep putting them in here, and then uploading them to the Subscribe store as WebP files because they're smaller for VTTs, and then I'm gonna put these on as PDFs so you can print out and create little cutouts, which I love. Cutouts for stuff like this. This is gonna be like a big one-page cutout, and you fold it. You know, two sides. Let me show you real quick. Where is it? I'll just get it later. But it's, you know, it's a 8.5 by 10. Most of what I try to do is 8.5 by 10 fold. You know, the bigger things, cutouts, and you can fold it and then use it as a miniature on your table. It's folded. Very, very simple, easy way to do it. No, you know, you don't have to, you know, get a base or anything like that. It's just folded like a, you know. I mean, here's some of my old Dark Ages ones, but you know, it's just a fold out photo paper, very easy. I'm doing both sides. I'm doing now. I used to do black and white on one side and then the color, but now I'm just gonna do color both sides because when I play, I don't really care. I don't do in the game. I don't do behind stuff, or if I do, it's pretty obvious. But I don't, you know, I'm just gonna do color on both sides because it's just, I kind of like whenever I see the black and white side, I'm like, nah, I'd rather just see the color either way. I don't do like miniature warfare where you're which way you're facing kind of a thing. I don't do that. It's unnecessary, I find, for what we're doing. Okay, so there's that. Oh, let me show you some of the maps. So these are all vehicles. Yeah. I'm working on these maps, and I'm doing kind of two different things. Full-on maps or modular maps, and you're just gonna have to pick and choose and, you know, do what you want with them. So, you know, so like, oh, can't see it. So here's a battle map. You know, you can encounter a little wasteland with a weird oasis. That's pretty cool, right? There's another one here. Oh, look what we got here. We got this little Christian church here. No, looks like Democrats. Little Democrat church there on the side there, where they give to their poor little slave. So, you know, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with this village, right? What's going on there? The basic one. So yeah, here's a raider camp with slaves and refinery. Little termite swamp marshland. Giant termite. Oh yeah, entrance to the bunks. And this, I got the, you know, AI to make this guy. It's funny because I give him my old versions, and then he redraws them. I give him my old doodled. This is from my old doodled version, and he redraws it. I can see some of the components, you know, redrawn. It's kind of cool. There's those kind of maps that I'm doing, and also I'm doing. Let me get this on here. Yeah, I'm doing these kind of maps where this is like a cave system, and you can kind of put together your own little cave, you know, tunnels. Getting the AI to do this was hard. This is actually really hard. It took me a long time to get him to even do. I'm not even fully satisfied with, you know, this, but this is over and over. I'd ask for something, and it would just do the same. Well, you know, crazy, very autistic AI. But these are just bits you can just throw together and make a little underground cave system. And I'll try to, you know, add more to it. And again, you can do this, right? You can easily do this. It's just time consuming. It is time consuming, and you have to sit there and wait for each iteration and corrections. There's some robots I put together with it. I'll try to get more of those, and the survivors. So this is the goal, right? Finding survivors. So here's the slave, you know, you just rescued them versions. They're with the raiders or wherever they are, or they could just be, you know, hiding in a ruin somewhere, and you find them, and you got to convert them. And then, of course, once you convert them and build a church, they start building their own community, right? And they got their Bible, and they start building up their community. Whatever, it's fine. It's meant to be a Bible. It's fine. I don't know if the AI is trying to put in a little evil satanic symbol there, but whatever. We're not. That doesn't affect us Christians. So there's a survivors. What else we got here? We got mutant. Oh, I don't want to show these, but these are going to be. I'm gonna, you know, at some point create some crazy orc-like, troglodyte-like empire thing. Look at that. Look at these war machines. You know, I explained. I you know, got the AI to make these guys. Like, this is their right? So we can have in the post APOC, we can have orky kind of scary looking things. So this is what I'm going to be having, and we have full on vehicle battles or in the game. Very, skirmish, not war, but skirmish. This is going to be just a slow moving steam machine with that these guys do. I gotta make like a big boss, which is probably going to be like some AI, android, civilized or something, like a dark lord like that. But and there's can be different AI, different empires, different, like you could do that kind of an empire that they got to go up against, or you could do a killer robot empire they go up against, or you could do a bug infestation, could be that. I don't know, whatever you want to do. What else we got here? Let me just show you this real quick. It's the Foundry. Now I'm not loyal to Foundry. They got a lot of LGBT running taking control of it and running its whatever. But this is one of my older maps that they were just in, and I'm going to make these available too if you want to use these. And these are huge files. These are huge WinRAR zip files, and you can unload them. You can here. Let me show you. You can unzip these into your Foundry folder under Data, and you unfold them into these massive folders where you can then, if you can see it on my screen here, where you can then have all the assets in there, and you start using them in your Foundry, as WebP files. These are all the WebP files of the same that I just showed you. Anyway, so the I was going to show you this. So I made these. This is a tool. This will be available on Subscribestar, where you can roll the dice, and it's D6s. You can, here's your traits, here's your skill, and I broke them up just for you. And if you get blessed, I broke them up like this because it's all the same number, 8d6 here. But just so so what what you're putting down. You could all put them all on trait if you wanted, just for expediency. Intense is the 6+. It's the normal. I know I got normal and then intense. Intense is the encounter combat typical roll. Normal and mundane are when you're basically at church or in your camp or you're safe. Then you can roll. This one's 4+ and this one's 5+ for successes. But you're only doing skills that are just that, right? In the rules. Like for mundane, you're building or distilling fuel, or I do allow salvage. If you're looking around for salvage, you can do mundane, but the area has to be secure before you can do that. Like the full area, not just the small area. Then you can do that to get successes. What else is under mundane? Very mundane stuff. I forget. I'm going blank here. Normal is like repairing stuff, repairing gear, repairing weapons, guns, stuff like that you are familiar with. But you got to be in your workshop or in your transport, not under combat or anything like that. That would be under intense. Stressed is if you're stressed out. It's a penalty, and wounded is another penalty where you have a higher chance of fumbling, and the fumbling can really drain you of your vitality. So under these, 4, 5, and 6 cancel the 1 fumble. Okay, so you get fumbles pretty rarely, right? 4, 5, and 6 cancel. But if you're stressed, only 5 and 6 cancels a fumble, so your fumble chance is getting higher. If you're wounded, only 6s cancel fumble, so you're 1 in 6 chance of fumbling, but the 6 can cancel, but there's still a high chance of fumbling, and that makes sense, right? If you're wounded, you're going to be messing up a lot more. And then past wounded is grievously and you die. But these stressed and wounded don't affect your I really like them because you can be stressed covers stressed, fear, diseased, whatever sort of you're not at your best, right? And if you're stressed or in fear or diseased or some other stunned, they're all the same thing, stressed. And it's just that you just have a higher chance of fumbling. And that will start draining you of your stats and your equipment. So it's a very simple way of putting you in a state as opposed to having all these different ways and confusing. Just stressed covers all of that. If I think you're stunned, if I think you're in fear, If you didn't resist, I just put you in stressed. And then if you get wounded, wounded can be permanent, like a real wound, or it can be, I put you in wounded because you are, I think there's something else. Oh, if you're poisoned, venom, those are all also wounded, and wounded is like, you got a big wound. Those are all wounded, and those all require actually for you to heal, right? Not just, stress has a good chance of you going down based on getting some high rolls or doing something cool or getting a chance to rest and recover and de-stress. But wounded is bad. You're really wounded, and you cannot you cannot go down until you heal yourself or detoxify or de-venom or de-poison. If you're distressed actually is same as stressed, but it's in the wounded. You're actually wounded, but you can go down. You can go down but you got to click on the wounded when you're rolling. But it's just the same as wounded in the sense of like only 6s cancel the 1s for fumble. So, and again, as a GM or player, you don't have to immediately bring in these rules. You could just keep it intense the whole time and just use that for simplicity. I would introduce normal and mundane pretty quickly if characters are doing something normal or mundane. Normal is just their normal activities. Mundane is like boring. Oh, I got to go do the refueling. I got to go, find some mushrooms. I got to go, that's mundane. So 4+ chance of success. And normal is like, oh, I got to fix this thing, or it's like mundane is fixing armor because it's low tech, right? Or scrap. Really, fixing armor, fixing the ship, the hull of your vehicle is mundane. Normal is fixing the engine, fixing your gun and its mechanisms and stuff. So okay, so that's that. That's it. You don't have to worry about any other kind of conditions or things like that. These are all tied in with these 5, it's nice and simple and easy. Let me just do this roll for the fun of it. And then on the side here, it'll show you the successes, the fumbles, if any, and it bases it off of your condition, your state, which is intense, intense is the normal state of action and fun and combat, and it shows you the different dice and the results. That's helpful. And I got the AI to make the script for me. And the other tool that I have on here is when you fumble, you can I did a combat and a maneuver, and the GM decides which they are. If you can do more than one fumble, you can do 2 fumbles, 3 fumbles, and it's based on the situation. There's mundane, there's maneuvering, combat drive, and gunnery. They're all slightly different. So let me just do one. Let me clear. Let me just do combat. Boom, and I send it out. 6. Run out of ammo or low on fuel, must replace uses maneuver. Fuel is set to low if low set to empty. So that's my way of determining ammo is this fumble here. It's in a couple of those the fumble areas where you could run out of ammo, so you got to reload. So make sure you have some on you, or you could go low on fuel if you have like a flamethrower or your vehicle. You got to set it to low, and if your vehicle is set to low, you better refuel it. Otherwise, it's the next time that this comes up, it's going to be empty and you're out of fuel. Yeah, so that's a nice, easy way of doing fuel. So you don't have to compute anything else. Just do it that way. You just set something to low, and if they don't go and deal with it, the next time they it comes up that it's on low, okay, it's on empty, you're out. Nice simple way of doing that, so it keeps them on their toes. This is and I got to figure out a way to export my whole thing. I want to export this. I know there's a way. I gotta look into it, but I'm going to do this and get this to subscribe to where I export this whole thing, and then you can just go in and load it up on your Foundry and use it. So there's that, and it's going to have all the thingamadiers going on here. Let me just show you. This game has hex mode. I'm gonna get AI to improve these hexes here at some point, but they're going around. They got a church. They got the home base here. They got a first church here. The main group, there's actually 2 groups now. The main group, but same players, but different characters. The main group is here in the mountains doing that arc rocket, exploring that, and doing high-tech salvage. They went... Yikes. Let me pause and clear my throat. The main group is here in the mountains. Yeah, well, they've gone a couple different places, by the way, and then retreated. but and then the second group just did a little fun little. They wanted to start new characters, and so they went into the ruins here and had a fun little adventure and got way too much cool stuff because my salvage tables using the D6 system has not been updated, or I haven't like finalized it yet, and so I was still playtesting it, and so they got a bunch of cool stuff, like too many relics in their rolls, and I'm like, I mixed cross streams with the different systems and what is required, so they got the easy roll from the first system and used it on the other system where they're supposed to have harder rolls, but they had easy rolls, and so they got more stuff, better stuff, and relics, and I'm like, But I had to go with it because I kind of committed to it at the time. But I'm fixing it up now, so I'm making a much more better search and salvage. A bunch of cool lists here. I'm going to add more to it. I'm adding more pages to this than my original D20. As you can see, I'm up to 120 here. And at the end, I have all the pages sort of just in white as a PDF. They'll be printable. And then in the book they'll still be there because it's a good like GM reference to have all the important stuff at the very end that you can just go there and flip to it and use it as opposed to in the book itself. But I'm adding in the AI artwork. I'm assuming that's fine. This is all the AI artwork, like some creatures and just a little promo there about this. Oh, I gotta change the Substack too. I'm using the Substack, I think, or the Subscribe Star, but let me I gotta kind of remind myself to fix that. Let me put this in red, make it big, and put it up the top so that I can just remember to kind of do something about this. See, lots of pages, lots of stuff I'm trying to deal with. I just want to make this big and ugly so that I see it and get back to it. Nope, what did I just do there? Come on, just get on top. Trying to make this like really, there we go. Okay, let me fix this. All right, anyway, sorry, doing this right in the middle of talking here. I got all these adventures in here. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to leave these as the fun doodle art or put in AI art or just add more, Maybe I'll just add more with AI art and just leave these as is because, there's still art. There's still art, doodle art. But here's some of the beasts that are in there. The AI ones. I gotta, flesh this out. Just make more stuff for you and me to create adventures. There's a whole conversion area. There's a whole hex map. Let me get the characters, combat. Here's the science, engineering, medical, and then the vehicle, the story of the transport. This is high tech. Even in post APOC, you're gonna getting high tech stuff. I'm gonna flesh this out. Vehicle stuff. I'm gonna make this into a book for Amazon, but it's gonna be a PDF on the Subscribe Star as well. Where is the one I was talking about, here, hex map. Yeah. So I think I'm definitely gonna make these more AI looking. That'd be fun. Color. I kept it black and white because I wanted it to really contrast with the tokens, and keep and then just logistically just save a lot of time for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and use the AI and do that all colorful. But that's my fun way of creating this world is you just go from hex to hex and build out, and the GM gets a little fun solo play where they can roll out the hexes and what's in them and figure it out. And this sort of a guide for them, and it touches on paganism and all that stuff. Okay, I got some notes here I got to do. Oh, that shouldn't be there. It's gonna go. That needs to go. Yeah, here with the supplies. I got some cool stuff here. Got some tough tape, so you get this tape and you tape it onto your item and it helps it save versus damage. Oh, I gotta write that down as a new rule too. Let me write that down here. I want to do a durable rule so that weapons can have durable. So this is a whole new thing I'm adding to the game. Durable is durable rule when everything can have it, in the fumble, everything has a chance of getting damaged or destroyed. So that makes it nice and easy and simple for repairing or notating stuff. And I figure weapons should have a durable state so that when they do get a damage, they can roll to resist it, and then they don't get damaged. But gear doesn't get a durable because it's not durable. But you could upgrade it so that it is durable. Yeah, and there's that. And then the durable can have a 2 or a 1 rather. A durable 2 means it has 2 extra die you can add to the resist. And the durable resist is going to be one's savvy and awareness. So you roll that. If you get 1 success, then you cancel the damage. It means you're aware and I don't want to break my axe. Like you're more cautious with it. So using awareness and savvy, because those are the 2 more about that. Okay, I think I've talked enough. So please join my subscribe star. Help me. I need at least 5 to have what's it called, auto payments. Right now I only got 2, and I think within a month they're going to be asked to pay again. I don't know if they will, but I need at least, I think, 5 just to prove that I'm really doing this, and then subscribe star will kick in the auto. So $6 a month. So I know that's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. It does feel like a lot because paying, but then everything else is going up, right? Netflix is going up and all that. I'm just trying to get something encouraging for you, me. This is all about storytelling. I want this to grow into TV shows and movies, not from me because I'm good. I'm busy with the church. I'm busy with this. I'm busy with writing. But boy, if some younger people could get this idea of, let me just go back to this. If some younger people could get this idea in their head, where and create stories like this, please. There's Homestead on Angel Studios, and I'm trying to watch it. It's a struggle. It's not really what my thing. It's sort of more of a drama, and their whole thing about God, there's no evangelism going on, even though it's supposed to be about God, and they believe in God and they're relying on God, but they're not doing what Christians do in that Homestead, that post-apoc. And criticize it or not, I am watching it, but it's slow. It's too sort of drama and not enough fun adventure like this. I want adventure. I want kind of gonzo adventure like this. But in this gonzo adventure, you can have evangelism and church planning and very Christian, So this is the kind of post-apoc I want. So please steal my idea and make a evangelist Christian entertainment. Who knows? Maybe at some point I'll do AI version of this. I don't know. And by the way, I'm telling you all this so that if you want to steal my idea, go for it. Because the only thing you'd be taking away from me is the kingdom of God, and I'm good with that. So, all right. But this is the kind of Christian entertainment I want. Okay. Use AI. I don't care. I might use AI at some point to try to make this into an actual animated thing. But I first got to build out the world and these characters and the story, and I'm busy with doing the subscribe star and the game and getting, because I want more people out there into this kind of a storytelling. And there's none. There's like almost zero. Not zero, but there's almost zero. Rambo actually has it. The version where they go to Thailand or Burma. One of my favorite movies. But they have missionaries in that one. Very violent, but a true story. It's a fictional story, but it's a true setting. The situation there and the horror of it all. But missionaries are going in there and they're risking their lives and stuff. And the Burma Rangers, by the way, it's the real Christian missionaries in that area. They're just with that one guy. I think he's still alive, doing that. But stories about this is what I want, and there's none out there. There's none. No one's making them. Apple TV's not going to make them. Disney's not going to make this. Yet this is the truth of everything that we do as Christians. Most Christians are no Christians make it. Angel Studios is not going to do this. Pureflix definitely not going to do this. They're all into Christian romance, which is ridiculous. They're all into, I need God, I need Jesus, and I don't care about that you need Jesus. Just to be a little harsh here, I don't care that you need Jesus. What are you doing for the Lord? That's what I want to know. And I know exactly what you should be doing for the Lord. Evangelism, church planning. That's all the New Testament is. So I'm being a little, I don't know, obtuse, brusque, but that's it. That's like, what are you doing for the Lord? That's all. I don't, if you need Jesus, I don't care. I mean, because I've heard that so much. The Holy Spirit has told me to do my own ministry all by myself, and I want you to give me your money. Well, I don't care. I mean, I'm somewhat doing that right now, but I'm transitioning all of this to my church. I got to take it one step at a time with them, and I'm going to do a game room. They have a room in there that's in the back and it's unused, and it's kind of looks like a game room. It's got the tables, it's got some TVs, it's got bookshelves, but it's like nobody uses it. I'm like, dang, this church is like empty, an empty vessel ready to be filled with the glory of the Lord, and doing different things in different groups and stuff. So, anyway, the game of life, everybody. I gotta do a little work here. Maybe clean up my room, clean up this. It's getting cluttered in here. There's so much stuff, and church stuff too. And the game of life, everybody. So get busy with your church. Start thinking of things you can do at your church to, if you want to use my game, let me know. I will help you, get you all the stuff you need. In the game of life, roll holy dice.